Hello there everyone, welcome back to the Coaxium Cantina. I'm Benjamin,
And I'm Aidan.
that is Aidan, and today we are going to be talking about the possibility of Obi Wan Kenobi being in the Andor show. Now, according to Screen Run, a report says that Ewan McGregor will have a recurring role in Andor series. Now, Andor has started filming, and there have been set photos of Andor. And yeah, that's basically all we know. So it's not the easiest topic to talk about because there's not much to go off. But
Actually,
Aidan,
analyze.
Obi Wan Kenobi in Andor, what do you think?
Well, in in my mind, I've kind of got a basis, obviously, around Rogue One and A New Hope, because in Rogue One, Mon Mothma talks about Bael's friend, the Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Well, technically, Bale's friends with all the remaining Jedi.
Well, true.
Well, not
Well,
all of
he
the remaining
didn't know
Jedi.
Cal Kestis.
All the original
Survivors.
remaining Jedi.
Yeah. I want to feel like that's gonna be either Obi-Wan's appearances in the Andor show being either Bail going and talking to Obi-Wan, or maybe transmissions sending between them. I don't know. It's a really difficult one.
Mm.
I don't know.
Do you reckon the Kenobi show and the Andor show will be tied together with story then?
Uh,
So what happens to like a bit of the Mandalorian with obviously we know where Ahsoka is at, so then from there we go to an Ahsoka show. Would it work a bit like that? We know where Kenobi is at from the Andor show, but then we go into a Kenobi show, and it's just it's happening in the same time frame.
I mean, that might work. I just feel like it's a really difficult one because in A New Hope, he's kind of like forgotten everything, or he seems like he hasn't heard from about a lot of this stuff in ages. So
Yeah,
if they end up using quite like large plots, it's kind of like, well, how come Obi-Wan
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
remember
definitely.
blah 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 in A New Hope?
Well, that's the thing, the Rebel Alliance, because I believe, obviously, we're watching Rebels at the moment. So you know, season one of Rebels, where like they're on their own, and then you hear season two. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that's the full Rebel Alliance yet. That's
Yeah.
a cell of the Rebel Alliance,
Mm.
but a bigger cell than the Ghost was.
Yeah. Wasn't the Oh no, that was
And
Force
then
Unleashed.
I think eventually season three and four. I think becomes. I haven't watched season three or four in a long time, but I believe that comes as like the Rebel Alliance is this one massive thing
Yeah.
because you've got. That's why in I think was it in Rogue One where Saw Gerrera got a mention? Not a
I think
mention.
so. A
Not Rogue
part,
One. Not
like
Rogue
a
One.
full
Star
name.
Wars Rebels where
Oh.
Rogue words start again. Was it in was it in Star Wars Rebels where Saw Gerrera kind of got mentioned within the Rebel base? I can't
Uh,
remember whether that was
Saw Gerrera
Star Wars
was actually used in it. He wasn't just a reference point. I think he actually does feature in a couple of episodes of Rebels.
I can't remember where the quote's from, but it was something like, "Oh, you know, Saw Gerrera's cell is here," and then I think you have a Wookiee rebel cell. You have obviously the Lothal rebel cell,
Yeah.
and then you've got, I think the rebel cell centering around Alderaan becomes the main Rebel Alliance. I might be wrong with that. So if somebody understands that better than me, let me know. But I think that is the way it works. So if the point I'm trying to make here is that maybe Obi-Wan didn't realize that there was the larger rebel cells, and that's why he was so... He didn't really know what was happening in A New Hope. I mean, he was aware that it existed, right? I don't think anybody wasn't aware that the Rebel Alliance was fighting back against the Empire.
Yeah.
But I think they could play it off as Obi-Wan didn't realize the scale of the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
Because I believe, again, I might be wrong. I believe Cassian Andor was part of the Alderaan Rebel Cell, which formed into the massive Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
I might be wrong with that, though. And because I think the Rebel Alliance is then... Saw Gerrera's Rebel Alliance is a lot more extreme.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the different cells kind of have differences. Again, this might be wrong, and I haven't researched this, but if somebody knows this stuff, then let us know.
I feel like the big thing so you said that he was going to be a reoccurring thing.
Yeah.
That's
apparently
interesting, because is throughout this entire thing going to be is Cassian going to have an interaction with Obi-Wan, or is the consistency going to be Bail reporting to him or telling him about stuff going on?
Oh yeah, that's true. Just because it's in the Cassian Andor show doesn't necessarily mean that Cassian's going to interact with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But I think maybe it might be interesting to see, because obviously Bail isn't Force wielder, blah blah blah, and he knows that Leia is Force sensitive.
Well, does he?
Well, yeah, he knows that Padme was... Oh, does he?
Yeah.
I would imagine that he knows that Padme and Anakin's child was Leia.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean he knows Leia's Force sensitive.
Well, if he has a brain, it does.
Well, no, not necessarily. Not all. Bear in mind, a Jedi isn't usually... Jedi aren't allowed attachments, so technically there aren't usually... How's the best way to refer to this? Like, actual direct Jedi offspring. Like,
well, yeah,
it's
because
always...
Jedi are attachments, so it's usually the... But, I mean, usually if a Force-sensitive person has a child, it's most likely going to be Force-sensitive.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't know if Bell knows that. He might not. It's just...
Or I guess maybe Obi-Wan could inform him that she might be, because if Disney have decided that now Leia is Force sensitive, I mean they obviously have. Before it was like it wasn't obvious, but there was hints of it, like at the end of Empire, where Luke was shouting for Leia.
And Return of the Jedi. Well, it was more prominent in Empire.
And when Return of the Jedi? Like being an idiot.
It was just the fact that like Luke was telling Leia that she was...
Oh yes, obviously, so... yeah. That is moving. But it could be Obi-Wan telling Bail that she might be Force sensitive, and I wouldn't say Bail giving her training necessarily, but just kind of looking out because of the power that she possesses. if she decides to be in a fight, then she's still got to be like a Jedi within the battle, within the wars, right?
I don't know. I think
this is really hard to explain, but kind of like, because of the power that she possesses, she can't fight with anger, because it's not like Cassian Andor fighting with anger, because
he's not force sensitive.
obviously the dark side of the Force is like a drug, I guess.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe the way it works is that it's like addiction. You kind of get addicted to the power, and then that's how you become more and more dark side, and that's why it's so difficult to resist. So that's why maybe Leia needs a little bit of, and I'm going to go with anger management. I mean, I'm not saying that she's going to be, really angry anyway.
To be fair, I'd probably say that they won't even. I could almost quite happily say I don't even think they're going to touch on Leia's force sensitivity.
Yeah. But I'm just thinking that Disney have the way Disney do things.
Yeah.
I mean,
they didn't intentionally trying to include it.
I don't want to, stir up anything, but she's a new force sensitive female, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So, they might, what's the word? Ram it in there, I'm going to say. I can't remember the phrase I was about to use, but shoehorn it in there.
Make it a bit forced.
Shoehorn it in there, that's what I was saying. But
no
again, the thing of Leia being in it, just because it's an Andor show doesn't mean it's just about Cassian Andor kind of thing. The other thing I wanted to touch on was obviously with with Ahsoka show, they're going for Thrawn.
Yeah.
And obviously, I would say obviously, but it makes sense for the Rangers of the Republic to be about Thrawn as well, especially if Hera Syndulla is now leading the Rangers of the Republic, which we will probably cover in another episode. Actually, we'll definitely cover another episode. But how would you think they are setting up a story for in between 6 and 7, and then setting up another story between 3 and 4, or do you think that the Kenobi show and the Andor show are going to complement Thrawn somehow?
To be fair, I think they're going to be separate. I feel like they're doing the Andor thing as testing the waters for another Rogue One style thing, obviously, because when it came out, people enjoyed Rogue One because it was very different. It was obviously still Star Wars, but it wasn't really related to the Force or Jedi or anything. So in my mind, they probably won't go too Force heavy, or maybe even linking heavy with Thrawn or Vader or anything. Oh, Vader maybe, but
Vader. What, in the Andor show, possibly?
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Well, I mean, Vader's definitely in the Kenobi show.
Yeah, but with regards to the Andor show, I feel like that's going to try and be just the dark sides of the rebellion. Like nothing Force, nothing Jedi, nothing Sith, just normal, real world stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want it to be. Literally, the dark side of the rebellion is one of the best bits about Rogue One.
Yeah.
The fact that when you deeply think about it, the rebels weren't exactly the good guys.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that Star Wars has always done. It people think it's literally just good and evil. Where, I mean, even throughout Clone Wars and throughout the prequels, throughout the original trilogy, it hasn't just been good and evil. It's been, alright, okay, so this is mostly good, but not sure about, I'm not sure if the Jedi's way of doing things is perfect, or I'm not sure about the Rebellion's way of doing things are like are that good. You know, it's like the whole thing about the Death Star. Yes, the Rebels blew up the Death Star, which, I mean, in many ways is an act of terrorism.
Yeah.
But also, I would put money that there were probably millions. Well, I say not millions, but thousands of rebel prisoners on board that Death Star.
Yeah.
And technically, half the stormtroopers, they were innocent as well.
Yeah, they were essentially people who joined the army.
Yeah.
They were just soldiers.
They were the people that joined the I guess the most powerful army, right?
Yeah.
They joined the people in control. They joined the most powerful army. They joined the army that was ruling over the galaxy, which is, you know, from a civilian's perspective, it's no different to the Republic.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think Battlefront 2 had glimpses of it. I said before this podcast, to Aiden, let's not mention Battlefront 2. Let's not mention Battlefront 2 in this time. What have I done? Mention Battlefront 2. If you don't know, if you don't know, I think we've mentioned Battlefront 2 in literally every single one of our podcasts so far. I might be wrong with that one, but it feels like it. But anyway, the point I was making was, you know, when in the Luke Skywalker mission, when I think it's Del Nico actually finds out that the Emperor is a Force user.
Yeah.
And he instantly thinks he's a Jedi.
Yeah.
It's like all of the people that say, with the red lightsaber, and then you go, oh, you're a Jedi, I'm no Jedi. So for Palpatine to kind of say, the Jedi are traitors, and then for the civilian's point of view to be that Palpatine's a Jedi, is kind of like, the people don't know that.
Yeah.
The average civilian, I would say, in Star Wars galaxy probably doesn't know about Jedi, Sith, the difference between the two.
Yeah. Well, so to be fair, they probably don't even know of the Sith's existence, really. Exactly. The only time that would be mentioned is, like, the time before the Republic, really.
Yeah, yeah.
Or the most recent Republic.
So, technically, just the Emperor is the Emperor, and you go serve him because that's what you do, you know?
Yeah.
So, the rebels blowing that up probably had a lot of innocence there. And people on their side. So, and that's the best bit about, I mean, as much as I have my problems with the sequels, there were some bits where, especially with Luke Skywalker in The Last Jedi, that said, like, the Jedi were wrong. And I think that's one thing that Disney have done well. They've taken these stories and put them in a more human perspective. And like, not sure that one's right. Not sure that that's actually right. And that was one of the best bits about Rogue One as well. The way that they went about things in a
normal,
normal and not so. I mean, technically, Rogue One are traitors, not traitors. I don't know what it is, but they were told not to go, and then they went anyway. And same with Admiral Raddus.
Yeah.
So they just disobeyed an order that nearly destroyed the entire Rebel Alliance.
Not necessarily a deserter, but like a
yeah.
I don't know. We both know what we're trying to mean.
Yeah.
Because that was a majority of their fleet, wasn't it? If I remember correctly.
Well, I think Raddus took his fleet, and then everybody else who agreed with it as well.
Yeah.
Which I would imagine would be like more than half, maybe.
Mm.
So, yeah, I don't know. That would be an interesting. Do you think Harrison do that went with Admiral Raddus?
Well, bear in mind we've still got the Ghost in the Rise of Skywalker,
Yeah,
so
I mean,
yeah,
Hera fought in the Battle of Endor. She
she
was in
did.
the Battle of Endor. So there you
Forgot
go.
about that. So,
So overall, I mean, we haven't really talked about Obi-Wan in the Andor show, which is, you know, but overall, I think that maybe it could work. I'm
I
not sure.
uh, I think it would. It just wouldn't have any direct ties to Andor himself, or probably the main plot anyway. It will probably be a consistent side or secret piece.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there was another report that said Ahsoka was in it, but I didn't include it in here because I couldn't find. Well, I'd say this isn't evidence, but this is a report. But I couldn't find like a proper report that so I've just seen it somewhere that apparently Ahsoka is in it too.
Right.
But I couldn't find that like
Hmm.
a reliable report.
Yeah.
But if Ahsoka's in it too, then who knows what could happen?
Once again, this is the thing of they shouldn't big it up too much.
Yeah, yeah. And hmm, well, I do and I don't. I want the Kenobi show to be just on its own. I don't want it
Yeah.
to be like part of this big storyline. And I say I do and I don't because obviously the more you and Obi Wan Kenobi we get, the better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I Kenobi needs to be a Kenobi thing.
Mm.
It doesn't need a big tie to a big villain because it, like his big villain at that time is Vader,
Yeah.
and that's what the show's got to be focusing on, him moving on from Anakin,
Mm.
not
And still looking after Luke.
well, yeah, and that not trying to fight this massive big villain.
Yeah.
So yeah, and again, if if they do the villain in Kenobi show, I mean, I'm sure they will do a villain in Kenobi show, but it could turn out to be like an Memphis Nest where they can't do anything. They can't do a villain that's
Well
like
known.
too massively well known or does something massive to the galaxy because then that in many ways undermines Darth Vader and all the villains in the actual Star Wars films. But then you do a villain that's so insignificant that it just no one cares.
Yeah.
So it's a bit, you know, yeah. Anyway, do you have anything
Yes.
else to say about Obi Wan Kenobi
I
in the
I
Andor series?
I don't think so. It's kind of like what we did the other day. It's a topic where we can't really talk that much on it because we don't know how significant it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
this rumor could be. I mean, I don't exactly know where the rumor was from. Like it was from. I saw the rumor on Screen Rant, but I don't know where it came from. If you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it could have come from anyone. But the fact that Screen Rant cover it make me think that it's a semi-reliable one.
Mm.
Also, don't forget that Ray Park put photos out for him being Darth Maul, and Andor is the Star Wars show that's filming at the moment.
Yeah. So,
So you potentially got Ahsoka, Kenobi, and Darth Maul, all three of which probably I would say most of you would agree with the statement. all three of which are potentially a mile more interesting than Cassian Andor.
Yeah. Well,
So it could, again, like the Ahsoka show, like my worries with the Ahsoka show, it could turn into a Cassian Andor show, but that's mostly about that everybody only cares about Kenobi, Ahsoka, and Darth Maul.
to be fair, what they could do actually is if it's Darth Maul, he has control of all the crime syndicates. So technically, what you
Yes.
could do is in the Andor show, you could do the rebellion dealing with stuff like the other crime syndicates.
He does. That will be another episode which I'm writing down right now. So yeah, any final words about Kenobi?
Kenobi. No, I think I've wrapped up.
Yeah, I mean, look, as I said, if it's more Obi Wan Kenobi, then hell yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's unnecessary Obi Wan Kenobi and then undermines what the Kenobi series is, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will see you guys. Thank you for one sentence at a time. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
You gotta love my outros.
There.